Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today and joining us live this evening for our final Autism at Home webinar of the year. Tonight, we'll be going in depth into teaching a child with autism at home and how that might look like all the way from morning till evening. My name is Stephanie Wan, and I'm one of the supervisors at Early Autism Project Malaysia, or EAP. Joining us today, we had Jojoba Isaacs, our director at EAP, who also happens to be the lead instructor Autism at Home. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Steph. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, Tiana. Hi, everyone.
And yep, we also have here Tiona. For those who have been watching our webinars the past 2 times, Tiona has been kind enough to join us and share her experience as a mom of children with autism. And we're so happy to have her here today as well to follow up on how that's been going and talk some additional strategies. So just to give a quick recap for anyone tuning in who maybe haven't watched the previous webinars, the first one we did a couple months back was on the topic of managing challenging behaviors. This is where we spoke to Tiona about the different, sometimes challenging behaviors that Adriana was experiencing while she at home. At the same time, we talked through some strategies. So we're just gonna do a little quick recap on that. But then when we followed up with Tiona, in the second webinar, we're really happy to hear that the strategies were quite successful in reducing a lot of the challenging behaviors that Ariana is experiencing. So this is just anyone tuning in. And of course, the links to the webinars are in the description box below if you want to check in on that. Then in the second webinar, we talked about puberty, particularly puberty for teenage girls with autism. Yeah. So some of the challenges that Tiona talked about was how Adriana wasn't too sure how to hygienically manage her use of sanitary pads. She was going through some hormonal changes, leading up to a period, and also just the questions of how much to explain about puberty to Adriana, knowing that she does have a younger developmental age, even though she looks older on the outside. So some of the strategies we actually talked about was using predictability. So use social stories and calendars and even emotions as pictures to help Adriana identify how she's actually feeling on those days leading up to her period. We also talked about ensuring that even those daily lessons that Adriana does with Tiona, that they will include talking about life skill lessons, like how do we manage, say, our sanitary pads, in addition to doing academic kind of work. And the third, we talk more generally about how, of course, Adriana is getting older. She's going to become a young woman one day. And it's really important for her to learn some safety strategies to keep herself safe in the community. So we talked about strategies like circle of friends, which is the idea that there are certain people where what the appropriate, inappropriate things to do depending on your relationship with that person. We talked about public versus private, as well as some general safety strategies. So actually, Tiona, thought we maybe find out a little bit more from you, whether you were able to implement any of the strategies. How did they work out for you?
Okay, so hi everyone. So just want to very quickly and excitedly share with you just one strategy that we did implement from the previous talk that we had, the sharing that we had. So please forgive me, the top part has been cut off, but the bottom part is just basically the worksheet that we did with Adriana. It's this is actually a garbage chute. One is clean, one is dirty. So using pictures, we used to cut them out, and she would actually put in what is clean, what is dirty. So she actually learned what is clean, what is dirty. So remember in the previous one, I mentioned about her putting the dirty pad into the washing machine. So that doesn't happen anymore.
Woohoo!
So she really understands now that it goes into the trash. So for me, that's a big win. And yeah. So that's I'm
that's
just really happy
so
with that.
Good. That is what's really amazing, Tiana, is really you are like a home therapist. It's really a mom therapist. That's really
a mom therapist. Yeah.
Yeah, we really like honor you, and that's just amazing. So good to hear. That's a great update.
Great, that's so good. So thanks so much for updating us. It's good to hear that you got to try out some of these strategies, and hopefully if there's anything else to come up, do let us know. But we really wanted to spend the bulk of today's time really talking about our main topic for today. So for those just tuning in, today we're talking about how to teach a child autism at home. Specifically, we're going to be discussing with Tiona, how does she teach Abriana at home? What are some ways that we can tweak that daily structure from morning to evening and make it even more successful for Abriana, and ensure that she's really learning meaningfully and being occupied meaningfully throughout the day. So prior to this, we actually checked with Tiona to find out what does a typical day for Abriana look like, and we also asked Tiona to send over some videos. So Tiona kindly shared over a lot of videos from the home of what that daily structure looks like, how does the activities look like, even all the different roles the family and the children play in teaching and supporting Abriana. So first things first, I would maybe just show everybody. This is what Abriana's daily schedule will look like. So she wakes up, she starts with some Bible time, does some work time with mom, and then she has this online Zoom with friends community that she's part of. And then it goes on to a lot of independence activities like having a snack and lunch and rest time. Then the afternoon, her dad, Sam, does maybe some learning time with her as well. Or, her siblings also have some time with her. In the evenings, they go out to the playground. And then as they start to wind down for the evening, they do their shower, their dinner. And at the end of the day, if Abriana's met her targets and expectations, then she gets her video time as a reward. And then it's lights out. Does that kind of summarize it, Tiona?
That's right.
Awesome.
Correct.
Great. So this is kind of what that whole structure looks like. And also, like I said, we also have some videos that Tiona shared with us. So we picked out a few of them to really capture what a typical day looks like. And what we'll do is we'll kind of look at each clip. And, if there's anything, Tiona, feel free to jump in and clarify a little bit more about what we're looking at in that video.
Okay.
Right. So the first one we have is morning Bible time. And we're going to see Abriana using a schedule really quite nicely.
What? Now is your Bible time. Good job coming to the table, Abriana. Press the timer.
Yeah, press timer.
Okay.
See.
Can you take out all your tokens?
Take out tokens.
Take out your tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check the rules. What is green card? Let's.
Yeah, press timer.
Okay.
See.
Can you take out all your tokens?
Take out tokens.
Take out your tokens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's check the rules. What is green card?
I think that was just the end of the video. Were you guys able to watch that? Was the audio okay?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
The audio came
awesome.
through.
So yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, Tiona. That's kind of like the normal morning start of the day for you?
Yeah, so if you actually see in the video, I'm actually telling her to check her green card as she sits down. So she has to know what is her desired behavior and what is the not desired behavior, what will get her reward and what will not get her rewards. And then on the table itself, she has 5 tokens for keeping hands nice and doing her work properly. She earns those tokens as the timer beeps. So those 2 basic things have that they really help me in helping her to focus and finish what is set out for her for the day.
Oh,
Great. That's great, Joanna. So I just wanted to double check. Do you do this? Is this your morning routine every day? Like
Yes.
7 days a week? Would you say almost every day you do the same thing?
Every day except
Yeah.
Sundays.
Except
Sundays.
Okay, and Abriana in general, does she respond the way she did today? Like she seems quite prepared for it. She seems quite ready for it.
Well, she expects it, but there are days where she doesn't get her sleep. So the days that she does not get her sleep, then you know that she's extra cranky and extra irritable, and she doesn't want to hear me say anything that's even a little bit from me will just upset her, Those are the days where I'll be unable to even be in the room, because she'll be like, oh, and yeah, so good days, bad days, based on her mood. And as it gets closer to her period time, then...
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. So that means really coming back to that whole part of behavior regulation, emotional regulation, that's still something that we've talked about since the first time we had our webinar. That still continues to be something that is still a priority, yeah? So this whole mode, I mean, we're just clarifying this because this part that you're doing is really amazing. It really is you communicating to her and giving her predictability. So it's one of those prevention strategies. So Steph, if you don't mind just going to that slide just quickly. You know, when we talk about like behaviors or behavior management, we've got this this breakdown of where it's preventative strategies or what we call proactive strategies. And then we've got that under proactive strategies, you've also got the whole part of I think it's the next one. Preventative and teaching. So what you're doing with the visual and with the schedule is all preventative strategies. So what we now need to just emphasize is those teaching strategies where we're teaching her how to actually manage her behavior, how to regulate her emotions, what to do when she's upset, and alternative behavior instead of her triggering you. So really the point of, so we've done the 3 webinars as Stephanie nicely summarized. The first webinar was really to talk more about the behaviors. The second webinar was to talk about puberty. And today's webinar is really to try and put that into some kind of a structure for you and your husband, Sam, so that you can actually have that regular practice every single day, hopefully, and then that generalization piece as well. So this is where we're talking about the proactive strategies as well as reactive strategies. So once she has a behavior, and I think with the next video we're going to watch has a bit of that behavior that comes up, then the reactive strategy Tuana does in the next video is to explain to her that that's a red behavior. But now what we also want to see is how can we prevent it, or how can we teach her how to respond even if she is upset or not happy and so on. So thank you, Tuana. I think you and your husband again are doing a great job. So let's watch the next few videos and then we can unpack this further.
Hi, Ebrina.
Hi.
Hi. Breathe in.
I don't want playtime, Elisa.
You don't want playtime with Elisa?
Don't know. I want.
Okay, so how about resting time? Yes?
Maybe bit.
Which one?
Last bit. Maybe something else.
First lunch, then?
Last. No! Don't! Help me! Help!
Cheating is a red card.
No!
You are not going to have your reward.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry, Ebrina.
No!
So Tuana, can I just clarify in that video? Yeah, it is. I mean, thank you so much for being willing to share this video. Before we did our webinar today, we wanted to check first permission from Tuana and her husband on the video. So it does have some sensitive content and may upset certain viewers. So I think I just wanted to clarify, like you were doing like quite a clear explanation of what's happening and what's coming up. But then she starts getting quite upset. Do you know what is the trigger for that?
Yeah. So at first I didn't understand because I was using this schedule, which is her daily schedule, which I could move this around anywhere. But I had very clearly forgotten that I actually have a main. If you actually look at the video, it shows that there is one on the wall as well. And on the wall is a whole month plan of what we got coming. So that's the predictability thing to show her what's coming. That keeps her anxiety low, and it's worked really well. But the problem is I forgot that day she was looking forward to her teacher, Eric, which is a vocal singing class that she has. So she was looking for it on this schedule, and I kept directing her to, okay, what do you want to do next? Okay, is it this one? You know, and she actually, if you look at the video, she's actually trying to show me what she's trying to say. And I felt really, really like I disappointed her as a mom because, you know, I was supposed to have this. I'm supposed to make it work so that she can use her words. And here I am messing it up. Anyway, so the teacher Eric thing is, this is the picture of teacher Eric.
Yeah.
This should have been on the schedule, and
Okay.
that would have solved the matter, you
Yeah.
know. But she didn't see this, so she was like, "Where's this?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So instead
That
of
was-
saying, "Amma, where's
Yeah.
teacher Eric on my schedule," which is what a normal kid would do, but
Yeah. So then what she then kind of escalated quite quickly to no, help, and she was kind of screaming like as though she was being like disciplined or something like that. Is that just kind of her kind of scripting? Is she repeating that every time she?
yeah. So
Because yeah, go ahead.
So
Yeah.
that like you said, that word exactly, that scripting that she has whenever things are not going her way, it's help me, someone help me, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So thank you for sharing that, Joanna. And I think, I just want to acknowledge also, like, you as a parent, you and your husband, you guys are doing the best that you can. You have 4 children. So to whoever that's joining us for the first time, Joanna is a mom of 4, 2 of who are on the spectrum. So I think you're really doing your best. And I think even in that situation, we all make a mistake or an error. And really what you're trying to do is really that preventative strategy. You're trying to prevent the behavior. But what happens in life is that, we all make mistakes. And then sometimes there's a change, and sometimes that's just out of the, we just didn't see it coming, or something out of our control. So really what is reflected here is that Abriana also needs to learn how to tolerate that, that change, and also like what to do, like problem solving. So let's say she doesn't see teacher Eric, then what can she do? Can she ask for help?
Yeah.
Can she say, where's teacher Eric? So there's like multiple other responses that Abriana could do instead of just, starting to hit and scream and shout. So those are the types of, I feel like, scenarios that actually need to be in this sort of teaching component of regulating the behavior, where before this behavior happens, we're going to be practicing this in those structured times that you and your husband are working with her. You're actually teaching these strategies to her to help her know what to do the next time this sort of thing happens. So I would say it's tolerating change as well as communicating like what to do, Steph, we do that whole program, like big problem, small problem, or no problem. So even like, I'm not sure how effective it would be for Abriana, but just you showing us dirty and clean, she was able to sort that. I feel like it could almost be taught to her, like, this is not a problem. And then like, what can you do? This is a small problem and this is a big problem, versus it now her reaction is kind of like big problems straight away. So I mean, we're giving you sort of specific recommendation to that situation. But the main point would be, after a couple more videos, we're going to give you the whole overall structure to how would you teach these things. Because, it's a lot of like, do we do this? Do we do this? Like so many different things to work on simultaneously. But did you have any questions about that first, Joanna?
No, I was just thinking about what I do at home whenever something like this. Because first of all, I feel very defeated, and I was like, damn it, I lost her using her words. So then I tried to get her back to use her words straight away, So I don't know when that's the right thing to do, because she's already in that behavior, and by right behavior means extinct, right? So like run away or remove yourself from the behavior. But so what I've been doing also is turning my back towards her and trying to prompt her to tap my shoulder, and I go, Abriana, what do you want? Use your words, tap me, So like, Amma, I want teacher Eric, like that, But when she's sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work, because when she's like all upset and she just finds it easier to just, So, but I understand what you're saying about the prayer, teaching her to respond better, and I hear you, lah.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it would be, I think now, because you're doing like what happens, so you tried your best to prevent it. Now the behavior still happen. What do you do in that moment when that behavior happens? And I feel like we always talk about extinction, which is like ignoring the behavior, not giving a big reaction to it. But we also talk about redirection to something else. So when you're redirecting her to touch you, I think that's a little bit risky, because she can also just hit you in that same moment. So I guess what we would suggest is, can we redirect it to like a choice board or a relaxation board? So there's two types of ideas that come to our mind and what we've done in the past. One is the relaxation board, which is a calming down board. But I think sometimes I feel like it's sort of a situation where, you know, if we are really anxious about something, like, oh my gosh, like one of our consultants from the US said, give this example, you lost your luggage in the airport. And like people are just saying, just breathe in, just calm down, just breathe in, just calm down. We probably would get more angry because we're like, just give me my luggage. I almost need a problem solving situation, not just the relax, relax, relax. So I feel it's almost like two thoughts come to mind. It's either we redirect it to relaxation strategies, or we redirect it to like a problem solving, like what can you do, ask for help. So then that's written there, like ask for help or ask mommy visual. So angry she can just, because it's quite difficult for, if her emotions are already like really escalated, I feel it's quite difficult for her to bring that escalation down by herself.
Correct.
Regulate and use her words properly or touch properly. It's much more easier just to grab a piece of paper and just give that to you. Then you would go, oh, Teacher Eric, yes, of course, Teacher Eric is coming. Here's it on the schedule. So sorry, Mama made a mistake. Thank you for being so flexible or something, you know, like that.
Yeah,
but those are reactive.
Really
yeah, those are reactive strategies that I feel we could definitely put in. But I think the bigger picture still is that she needs to learn another solution. She needs to learn another like sort of like strategy. Abriana only has one strategy right now. When she's upset, she starts hitting and screaming. When she wants something, you don't give it to her, she starts hitting and screaming. So her main strategy is getting either to express frustration or to communicate. Her main strategy is that participate in challenging to aggressive behaviors. So that's really where we want to do that. And I just noticed on like the YouTube chat, somebody just asked, Purnirma Karki asked, how do we help a child understand us? And I feel like, Joanna, you could answer that question. How do you want Abriana to understand you? How do you teach Abriana, your daughter, your 14-year-old daughter? How have you taught her to understand you? What you're saying, or what you're communicating?
Yeah, I try not to use words.
Yeah.
Because I find the more that I say, the more louder it gets in her ears.
Yeah.
So I actually resorted to just showing her pictures.
Very good.
And I find, so if I want her to go for dinner and she wants to do something else, let's say she wants to go play and I want her to have dinner. So what I do is I have a board actually that says it's first and then. So it's first dinner, a picture of dinner, and then you can get what you want.
Yeah, excellent.
So that's what I've been doing. That's actually my saving. It saves me from shouting at her. It saves me from being a monster to my child. I don't want to be a monster to her, but that's what happens, you know, because she doesn't understand and I don't understand.
Yeah.
So first do this, then do that.
Yeah.
And pictures. I don't do words anymore.
Yeah.
She hates my voice, I think.
I think it's just more successful. So much more successful. So I think what you're saying, Tiwana, and the question that Purnirma is asking, I think essentially at the heart of it, we want to help each child with autism be successful. So that means we talk to them in a way that they can easily understand us, right? So that what you're saying is you're using visuals, you're using text, you're using like pictures instead of just verbally, because that can be going off their head and can be just sort of like, can just be like really upsetting to them. So I think that's really good. And I hope that answers that question. I think we have one more, maybe we can do one more video. I know that there's this really nice video of the children, like you've really gotten your two younger children involved, all kids involved. So let's watch that. I think that's really a special video.
The one in the social story, right, Joe?
Yeah, that's right. That one. And also I think the lunchtime there was another video. So Tiana sent us lots of home videos, which are really, really excellent. And because of time, we can't go through them all, but we're going to go through as many as we can. And then we're going to cover a sort of daily comprehensive schedule for the family.
How was the food? The food was eating yummy cookies much. Oh.
Mmm, seems delicious. Hey, maybe you can have your legs down? He'll be alright, right? Maybe you can have your legs down? Yeah, that's way better. So,
Good job, Abrina.
Me too.
so, the food is so delicious, right?
Yes. So you see, I gave her a token because her timer beeped and she was not hitting her siblings. So she earned her token for sitting nice and behaving well.
Wow, that's
So now you know the secret is I buy chicken rice.
excellent. Whatever works, dear. Whatever works. Having 4 children, if it works, it works.
Okay.
So is this something that happens every day? Like, is this lunchtime routine pretty much daily?
No, actually not daily. It's just whenever I can bring her out of her room, or if I find that she's too much in her room, then I try to get at least the lunch, the meal times outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's excellent. I think that that video is so you can really hear. So we see your other 2 children as well. Elisa is the little, your third child, but your second daughter. Yeah, third. And Aaron is there. He's number 2. And so like Elisa is like a mini therapist giving those instructions, right? Steph, and like that.
It's like if she's looking for a job,
verbal,
Fiona.
yeah.
Yeah.
Truly, she really
Aaron,
did.
Yeah, and Aaron being there, and Aaron being on the spectrum as well. You know, he's different completely from Brianna, so it's really nice when they get together like that.
Yeah, it is. I think it's such a good daily routine, and the reason I was asking about whether it's daily or not is because I was just curious to know again whether the overall success of the session, that lunchtime, is quite similar to this, what we saw today. And definitely recommend, if you can, to actually have these sort of daily routines where they're eating together and having that sort of like lunchtime conversation together. I think it's really, really good. So I think just watching these videos, and this is the 3rd time you're appearing on our webinar. Thank you, Joanna. It really is great.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome, because we get to kind of give you some recommendations, but thank you for being so generous to be willing to do it on a live YouTube live, so that other people can also access it and actually rewatch it, and sharing your personal journey is so amazing. So what we're gonna go through is, from these videos, it looks like these are your key priorities. It really seems like the first one would be managing challenging behaviors. It would seem that the next one would also be like family participation, and really like being together with the family and living like a meaningful life, like going with you for meals and church, and really having a meaningful quality of life. And then thirdly would be anything puberty related. Have we missed anything at all in terms of the key broader areas?
I think this is the main few.
The main few. Okay, sure. So then what we would try to do is, these are the 3 things, but then how do we fit them into that structure or the schedule that Stephanie shared earlier, where you're doing like morning routine, and then you've got some independent time, and then you've got that whole part of where she actually has got some mom therapy time, mom therapist, then you've got lunch, then you've got, I believe, some downtime, rest time in the afternoon, and then some dad therapy time. So what we want to look at is, if we go to our next slide, which I think is our building blocks, essentially we want to make sure that your program, and to anybody listening on YouTube or logging on, or you're watching the replay, we want to make sure that any child with autism is set up for success. And so this is where we're talking about the building blocks of learning. And we want to make sure that they're actually starting from the foundations are very, very strong. And you see immediately here, and even just now in our sort of like pre-brief, before we started today's session, I was thinking, Tiana, that maybe one of the things that could be really missing the gap would be motivation, because I noticed on the schedule, it was like she gets the reward at the end of the day. And I wonder whether she needs to get more frequent, a higher frequency of rewards, so that we can actually strengthen that behavior. Because the whole concept of ABA is when a child does a behavior that is desired or the preferred behavior, and we pair that with reinforcement, that behavior increases. So over time, if we keep doing that, have many opportunities to pair appropriate or preferred behaviors with motivation that she wants, then that behavior becomes more and more established. So then I feel like motivation would be a big part of it. Then we've got this whole part of cooperation, imitation, attention, those foundational skills, which cooperation seems to be the most challenging. So that's where then we want to really have that as a focus. So be it like following instructions, be it like having those basic cooperation skills. Next year, actually, we're going to launch our Building Flexibility series. And so all the programs, tolerance, like tolerating waiting, tolerating change, you can actually revisit that. I know you've learned that before, but you know, it'd be like a refresher for you and how to actually teach her those skills. I thought it would be appropriate, given that COVID-19, we all need a lesson in flexibility. This year was that really taught us all that, right? And then we've got communication and language, which is really that two-way communication. So where you are doing such a good job communicating to her, but we also want to make sure that we've got some strategy for her to communicate to us. So using visuals or using like those kind of pictures that she can actually grab and take and give to you, especially when she's very upset. Then the next few parts, play skills, social skills, daily living skills, academic skills, those all continue to be things that we should be working on. Excuse me. But we'll talk a bit about how to do that, because definitely daily living skills, that seems to be a big priority with like puberty and just like managing her own personal privacy and self-care. And then also like social skills, which is that whole part of actually interacting with the sister, interacting in the community, all of that as well. So basically to your side, Tiana, you understand this framework, right? Just clarifying, do you have any questions about the framework itself?
No, I understand. It's just that I'm trying to consider how I can reward her more, and what different kinds of rewards that I can bring in, you know, like instead of just using the, because right now my only form of reward really is the gadget, is her video time. She gets to watch her favorite videos, and she likes to sing the Debo the Gift Dragon, and she likes to go through the Cocomelon songs. Sharing is caring. Just trying to think as you talk, what else can I do, and what else can I reward her? I'm trying not to do the snacks thing, like sweets and stuff.
Okay, so I think it sounds like you are working on, like, I mean, you're trying to find out other different types of reinforcers as well. I think we can talk about that in a few slides. Let's see if we just go to the next slide. In general, these are the 5 key areas then that we feel your home program would have these key 5 priorities. So the first would be like that reinforcement plan. So we'll come back to what the question that you just brought up. Okay. And then the 2 is that whole part of cooperation, flexibility, behavior management, all of that, we'll put it under 1 key priority. Then we've got two-way communication, which is that whole reciprocal communication. So we've got to and fro, like our communication to her, but also her communication to us. Then we've structured times, which includes like all the teaching time. So when you are working with her, as we call it like structured, because that means you're learning at the table, or you're having like sort of like therapy time. And then unstructured times is in the play and the free play and so on. So that's where that would be the main 5 areas. So now if we go into the next part, which is the first area, reinforcement plan. This is where I think, Steph, we're talking about identifying motivation. So that's the part. If Tiwana, you want to actually like, you know, we can actually do a quick brainstorm now of what could be those potential reinforcers.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the picture. Even the picture is pretty good. That slide. Where's that slide, guys?
Oh, let me show that again.
I actually like that slide.
It's a
Fantastic
generic
ideas.
picture we use on our videos.
Yeah. You know, is that the spray can, the snow spray?
Yeah.
And the bubble
Perfect
blower.
for
Oh my God, I completely forgotten about this stuff. Yeah, it's really good. My children actually adored the snow spray. But yeah, I think that would be fun. Yeah, something fun, something that she would likes to, something that would get her excited.
Yeah, and that means that's something that you can give more frequently throughout the day, so she doesn't have to wait
Correct.
the whole day as well for a video. And
Yeah.
I was just thinking as well, Tiona, because you mentioned that she likes to sing, she likes, you know, to watch those music videos. Does she like to sing along with other people as well, or dance
Yeah.
along with them?
Yep. You know, in her vocal class, they actually do the High School Musical song.
Oh.
She knows the whole.
So that can be a source of reinforcement as well, because we say reinforcement doesn't have to be something, you know, tangible or something. It's just what the child likes.
So if I go in and sing with her, or just she by herself?
So let's say if you're having like a table time, you're doing some work, then maybe she can have a board to choose like the songs she wants to sing. Hey, her favorite High School Musical song. And you can even just sing that after the table time.
Wow, that's so great. Thanks, Steph. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's such a good idea. Like it moves away from all just the edibles and the screen time, but there's so much of interactive reinforcement. Actually, Steph, if you want to just scroll down a little bit, we actually have a slide on identifying motivation or different types of motivation, Joanna. So maybe this will help you, and of course we'll share all this with you as well. So let me just see whether it's coming up.
Sorry, Joe, I don't think we have a slide on that. Identify
Oh,
motivation.
the different types of motivation?
The different types.
Earlier, I think we had it.
Oh, sorry about that. A little technical error, but I don't think at this point in time we've got that in this set of slides.
Oh, in this set of slides. Okay,
Yeah.
Sure. So there's actually like these different types of motivation that's like either tangible motivation, tangible reinforcement, social reinforcement, or like just what we call automatic reinforcement, which is the whole part of self-stimming, which automatically reinforces her. But so those are all reinforcement that and then of course you've got like task avoidance type, which is reinforcing as well, to get out of the task or to get. So I think hearing you, there's also that she uses that as well. She also has got the whole part of the reinforcement of like stimming that automatically reinforces her. But
anything to get mom out of the room and end her class.
Yeah. And then of course so that's an automatic, that's kind of a task avoidance reinforcer. But then also of course we have got this part of like tangible or social reinforcement. And so that's the part where you want to really utilize that, like what Stephanie was saying. So the first thing would be to actually identify the different types of motivation. And then secondly would be to actually decide how frequent you actually want to give that motivation. So essentially, if we do it too like thin, meaning like it's very like a long gap between the reinforcers, then Abriana doesn't have the chance to actually be reinforced sufficiently. So like, for example, I'll give you this example of when we worked with a boy many years ago. We said that if he could stay on green for like 1 hour, he would get some special reward time. So obviously he couldn't. That was just too difficult for him. And he had a massive behavior within 5 minutes. So we just dropped down the expectations to, if you can stay on green for 1 minute, you're going to get like this reinforcer. So we upped the reinforcer. And what was amazing is that on the first day, when we actually did it where it's 1 hour, you get reinforced, he basically could not even stay on green even for like 1 minute. But the next day, when we kept doing it 1 minute at a time, what happened was he stayed on green for 60 minutes, the entire hour, because he was being reinforced every minute. So that's the second thing about reinforcement that you want to just make sure that you're doing, is that even though you have the reinforcer, you're reminding her about the reinforcer, you're taking away the reinforcer. Sometimes the reinforcement is not strong enough to motivate her to want to really do the right behavior, or like that kind of like, you know, appropriate behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we have that slide up, Steph.
Sorry, Joe?
I'm sorry, can we go back to that slide?
Yeah,
The
back to
slide?
reinforce. Yeah. Reinforce the site.
Yep. So then the next one, of course, which is the third one, is actually to also make sure that we're balancing those programs. So that's where, you know, in total, Tiana, so not just the reinforcement, in total, she has to be motivated in terms of the play, in terms of the programs. Is there a good balance? I would ask that question. So looking at the whole schedule, is it like difficult, or are there programs that she really enjoys and loves? And that's where we would say, like, we try to like, we use the word like sandwich. So we do something easy and then something difficult, something easy. So then you're actually really setting her up to be successful. So imagine you started the morning session with music time, and then we do like one activity that's a bit difficult, and then we do another like song time. And, you know, so it's really like, you know, you're really excited to learn, which actually is our second series for 2021, Making Learning Fun. So I think you might enjoy all those videos, and they might be applicable to yourself as well and your home.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah, do you have any questions about this one so far?
No, I'm actually, that's actually hitting home very, very strongly about the preferred and unpreferred. It's actually making me think now, am I enforcing her what I want her to do, rather and not giving her a balance? You said a balance of what she would prefer to do, and I'm actually thinking what I can do to make the morning session a little bit more, like you said, fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Bible and the activity sheets are just, she actually knows them by heart. She can do it like that. But it's not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't bring the excitement. So
yeah,
maybe like what Steph was saying about the play choice board, there could also be like a choice board of what she wants to learn, or what she, like you said, sandwich, something preferred, something unpreferred. I'm just thinking about it, but this hits home very, very well. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Tiana. I think that definitely, yeah, it's just something that all of us as, you know, parents, in fact, like, you know, this year, 2020, I would consider myself to be quite a fun teacher, but my own daughter said she'd rather be in school than be homeschooled by me, because she said I'm so strict at home. Compared, so, you know, we all have that. We all have those moments of like, we think we're on the right page, but then, you know, you just forget and actually have to remind ourselves to be fun. So moving along, let's look at the next point. So reinforcement is the first one. Second one is that whole part of cooperation and behavior management. So with this, there's also like subpoint A, subpoint B, and subpoint C. And we were trying to like, okay, how much detail do we want to go into this, you know, considering it's online? But then I think what our heart is really for you to get the most out of this session, and to really like, you know, have as comprehensive a plan as possible. So when we look at cooperation, we want to always review these old strategies that you remember: foreshadowing, finish box, the first then concept, following instructions. And when she does follow instructions, which she did do a nice job, you just want to go, wow, I love that, Abriana. I really like how you listened. That was such great listening. Then the second one is to actually decide what token board are you using? What is the mode of reinforcement? Are you going to use the red light, green light, yellow light, that plan? Or are you going to use this token board, sit nicely, look nicely, nice hands? The reason we're asking this is because we also don't want to have too many boards happening and too many of it be like corrective. We want to make sure that the boards are actually successful, reinforcing, because then there's a positive association with it. You know, it's easier for her to access it, to get the reward. She's more motivated. She's more keen to participate as well. So that would be the point B. And then the third point, which is probably the biggest one tonight that we're really getting from this whole session, is that whole piece of tolerance, teaching her how to tolerate, whether it's sounds, tolerate groups of people, tolerate her siblings, tolerate changes. So that part, you can't work on too many tolerance programs at once, but you can definitely do one or two. And I think that would be very helpful for Abriana. And I would say, like, if she was rewarded for being flexible, rewarded for having nice hands or something, you choose like one key thing that is the most challenging. And I feel like currently, I feel like nice hands would be the biggest one. So even with the traffic light, what we have done is we've set traffic light only for hands. So we don't do all the list of like 5 things under green light, 5 things under yellow light, 5 things under red light. We just do one thing under every light. And green is having nice hands. So you do high fives, shaking hands, writing, all of that is nice hands. Yellow may be like, pretending to hit, or something that's swiping off the table, throwing something, that's like a yellow light behavior. But red light is actually hitting or slapping or smacking or something like that. So you could decide in your family which one would be. That's just general. So then the whole red light, yellow light, green light just has to do with nice hands. So we just stop. We want to just see a total reduction of that behavior of hitting and being aggressive.
Yeah. So, sorry, just to check, Joe. So the green light, because right now what's on her board is the green light says doing coloring puzzles, and keeping your hands nice and using your words. These 4 things: using hands nice, use your words, coloring, and puzzles. These are green card behaviors.
Okay.
Correct?
I would probably say that, I mean, definitely they are behaviors. Green light means they're behaviors you want to do, behaviors that you feel peaceful, you feel good, and you make other people around you also feel comfortable to be your friend. So the puzzles and coloring, we don't usually put it under green light. That one might be more like finishing your work. So it's more of a behavior that we want to increase, like completing the work that you started or cleaning up. But the reason why I thought of like just reducing it a little bit is so that we can really focus in on one key behavior that we want to totally stop, which is the hitting, aggressive. Yes. And so that's where then we can put the green light behaviors have anything to do with nice hands. So like shaking hands is nice hands, high five is nice hands, writing or drawing, all those are like nice hand behaviors. So it's just an idea that I just had, just because I think we want to kind of see that, we definitely want to see that hitting behavior totally stop, that aggression. And that for that to happen, we need to really strengthen and reinforce. And actually watching the videos today, because quite a few of the videos have a bit of hitting or a bit of hitting out, like trying to hit, So I would say that that's quite a frequent behavior. And definitely you would do better if you reinforce much more often, much more frequently, so that she really stays on green, nice hands, like a majority of the time, at least during the structured time that you're working with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for example, like in the morning, with her work and her Bible time, and then she does really good for like say 3 to 5 minutes. She's keeping her hands nice. She's talking to me nicely. So I go, good job, Ma. Well done keeping your hands nice.
Yeah.
Here you go. Have a
something. And let her have that choice. So I think having,
so I tell her, so I tell her, shall we go out and play bubbles for a while and then we come back?
Yeah.
So first bubbles, then continue, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you also, you're great. I think you want to just check the transitions. So if you need to go out and come back, you want to see whether Abriana will be successful. So it might be a quick, because it's only 5 minutes, you want to maybe do a quick reinforcement right then, because you want to then get back onto work. So either like, let's sing a song, or like, let's do bubbles in here. Because the minute you have to transition out and back, something along the way could trigger her.
To trigger her off, okay.
She might just like whack you, slap or something on the way. So then it's like, oh no, she doesn't get reinforced for doing such a good job 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So I would say a quicker reinforcer on the spot as much as possible, as quickly as possible.
And that has happened before, and she felt really, felt really horrible about herself.
Yeah.
She felt like she had failed me. I could feel that from her, that my daughter was feeling sad that she had failed me. And and I didn't know how to twist it around at that time, and because I can't go tell her, Amma still okay with you, Amma still happy with you. I can't use words like that to reinforce her. She's not a normal thinking, processing, so.
Yeah, I think that's why the main thing, Joanna, you just want to keep thinking, and to anybody watching in, whether you're a therapist, a teacher, a parent, we just want to make sure that we're keeping our children as successful as possible. So the minute, we're doing the transition that already on the way there, something could trigger her, she'll lose that reward, she'll have to go back, it's kind of more like, like counterproductive. So I would just do a quick reinforcer, sticker, something that she likes, a tune, a song, and then keep going with that. But we have, using that strategy, Joanna, we've definitely stopped very aggressive behaviors in the past. We've also stopped like trying to jump out of the window and all that, with using very high or thick reinforcement, very frequent reinforcement of staying on green. So then they are more and more successful. Yeah. Okay. So we've got about 10 more minutes, and we still got a few more areas to cover, but let's go through it. Let's go for gold, and let's try to do it. So then the third one is two-way communication. I feel you are like a boss when it comes to this already. The daily schedule, the monthly calendar, visual. So I think daily schedule, you do that really well. I think monthly calendar would be something that I feel if you're not already doing it would help, because, like that's definitely where the period cycle comes in, where things like Christmas comes in. So if you could do a monthly calendar that's fixed somewhere, that would really help. And then
sorry, Joe, I have the monthly calendar on the wall. Remember I said?
Yeah.
I do have that.
So you do have that?
That's the one with teacher Eric on it, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
on
great.
the video.
So yeah, you're doing that. That's fantastic. Then you got visual rules. So visual rules, you can have like a little card that says lunchtime rules that's stuck on the dining table, or like, just basically like guidelines for how to interact in this particular scenario. So whatever it is, you can have that in your house in the different places. Then social stories. I don't know if we can transition to that picture, Steph, that you have of Joanna's social story that you made, explaining Christmas. I think that would be excellent. Have that. That would actually be like a key part, which I think you're already doing a lot of. So there you go. Steph was just saying that you don't need like printers, fancy equipment. All you need is pen, paper. This is fantastic. Like, just so great that you have this kind of social story. And the founder of this, Carol Gray, just amazing resource that she's shared with the world, really. And then all of us can just make this social story on your own. However it is, the main thing is as long as she understands it and it sets her up. Okay, so that's social stories. And then the last but not least is communication visuals. So when it comes to this, it's just like what I was saying earlier part, where like if she's having a behavior, she doesn't know how to manage it. How can she then go into like relaxation? There's a choice board there, or like a problem. So what can I do? I'm really angry. Like, and I think we maybe can talk through a little bit more specifically, or you can kind of brainstorm what would be the most effective. But essentially it's like a visual card there that she can just grab it and pass to you. I need a break, or I need I need help, or something like that, which is another strategy instead of her grabbing at you, pulling at you, or hitting you. So those would be all two-way communication. Then now for the meatier part is number 4, which is structured times. So we kind of broke this down into what are the main areas of focus you want to do during this table time or teaching time. So you want to work on maybe a little bit of academics. And I think with the academics, it's more so like not so much teaching her like to really push her along the way, but more to like, maybe give her some general knowledge. Like it would be great if she could learn certain themes, just because she's got such nice language. I think it would be really cool if she just had some current topics, current general knowledge, just basic things. Yeah.
That's what Sam does with her actually. He
Oh,
does
wonderful.
geography, countries, what do they do in different countries?
Yeah, yeah,
The different kind of weathers in different countries.
yeah.
Yeah, and space and rocket ships and yeah. So
That is so good. I mean, that's just brilliant. I mean, it's great that you got a teacher husband as well. So that's
yeah,
like
yeah,
perfect. So
it's very
actually, that's
knowledgeable.
part of our whole Making Learning Fun series. One of the suggestions is to teach by theme. So imagine if you had your academics and the whole theme for this month usually is Christmas. So all the different things about Christmas, the countries. But what happens is then Abriana feels a sense of dignity, like she's learning more. She's growing more intelligent, and that's so important for her own confidence as well. So that's for academics. Then you've got self-help skills. So you've got a few of those things we've talked about: puberty management, chore, all of that. Then we've got social skills. So that's like managing emotions. That whole like what can I do? Relaxing. The part we talked about last webinar, which is public versus private, that is so important for protection over herself as well. And then the whole piece of circle of friends. So Steph's done some nice visuals here, like my family is the most inner circle, then some friends, and all that kind of circle of friends also would be something that you could teach her here. So essentially, all those tolerance programs we talked about, this would be the time that you want to teach. But just bearing in mind, you probably, because you don't have much time for practice, maybe just about 5 to 7 targets, not so much targets like 10, 12. It'll be too many, then she won't have enough practice and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So then the next one is unstructured time. So this is where like you've got all those independence routines. So whether it's self-care, whether it's meal times, whether it's chores like around the house, you can do all those kind of like things that she's supposed to do independently. Then also like during free play, what can she do when she's free? Rather than just sitting in her room and like spinning something and all, can she read a book? Can she do a puzzle? Can she do some kind of like activity like that would be helpful in the home? Something that she could be independent at. And then lastly, of course, is the whole part of sibling play. So with sibling play would be that whole piece of actually having peer play and actually having that whole like interaction with her siblings as well. So those are basically the 5 key areas, which we just go over one more time. So you got reinforcement plan, you got cooperation and behavior management, you got the two-way communication, structured times and unstructured times. Yeah. So this would be like, this is kind of a framework for your weekly routine, your daily routine, your weekly schedule. And then lastly, what I felt also watching the videos is just that, what would a typical teenager be doing? So if we look at like a typical 14-year-old, really like they would be in school, right? So then that's on the next, so then you've got school. So when it comes to Abriana, she's not in a school because of the challenges and support needed and all, but could she do some home learning? So she has home learning, but could there be some part that's like group learning? So she's not just in isolation. She actually does something with, another friend or 2 friends, a small class. Then secondly, to have friendships. So teenagers' friendships are so important. So could she have that Zoom friends that she already has, plus some peer play? Then of course, we've got extracurricular activities. So all that part of like, extra, like the sports that kids play or music classes or all of that. So she's got singing classes, but what else could we incorporate for her? And then lastly, it's that whole independence, because teenagers start wanting to go to like cinema or like going out for an outing, shopping. So that's where that, Brianna, that could be part of her weekly schedule, which comes back to what we talked about in the first webinar of how can we make it really very successful for her. And really to have a good structured schedule. So do you have any questions? Tiana?
Sorry, can we go the one just now about the, can we just go back to that slides? Sorry, Steph. I really want to just point out that there's a really good point there that I want to just, the last point about the sorry, it's a really good point, because after
Is
this.
it a different slide?
After this.
Yes,
this one. This one. That's right. The typical teenage schedule. So, okay, I really love this slide, because the fourth point about being independent and outings, she actually had this pre-MCO, you know, and it was actually something that she really loved to do. And we even had someone that came in, and this particular person, her name is Jo, and she just loved taking Brianna out to just sit at Starbucks and just have a coffee and have cake, and you know, Brianna would just be loud sometimes, but this particular person doesn't really care about what other people think, you know. So Brianna could just be herself in public, and because of, I think, that loss of that time outside, this independent outings, that was, I think, one of the things that triggered her during the MCO period of, you know. So I really am very, very grateful that you reminded me of this, because I truly forgot. I forgot that she had this outlet, this outlet, you know, and it means so much to her. Going to grandma house, she still has, but this teenagehood, like how you said about her being what she is and her age, and it's so important. And I'm so grateful that you reminded me of this, and also her style, her clothing style, her hair. In fact, if you look at the video, you would see her hair is a mess, and that's my fault, because I don't know how to do hair very well, you know. And I know, as being a teenager, mostly they like to do their hair, they like to try makeup, you know. And thank you for him,
Joanna. That's so true. Like, so I think there you go. You got a few more reinforcer ideas, like making beads, making bracelets, you know, doing makeup, having nail polish. Like, we had a teenage girl of, you know, I remember in her program years ago, we used to do like things like going to manicure, pedi, you know, those kind of things. Like, she'll bring her little shopping bag and like go out with her therapist or family. And it was really very, very nice. And it really gives so much dignity, so much meaning to their life. And even now in CMCO and somewhat lockdown here in Malaysia, you still could do even like some kind of Zoom parties, you know, like Zoom kind of like fun things. Like, even if there was one or two teenagers that maybe volunteers or from church or somebody that would be willing to, like, you know, be Brianna's friend, and actually just play a little like charades or game. I can really see Brianna loving that, and that would be something we could really look forward to. And I think that's something we really want to just make sure in Malaysia as well. That's one thing we're trying to do, Joanna, is really to have that kind of, you know, inclusivity and acceptance in our community and society. And part of it is actually then being there for a friend and actually help, you know, like actually like participating, including her, and so on. So I think that would be great if, you know, you had those kind of like daily phone calls or something like that, or video calls with a few kids. I think it's something that she would really love. So I just wanted to make sure, even as we're talking about all the things that she has to learn, all the things that she has to work on, that we're still remembering that at the end of the day, she's a teenage girl. Let's make sure that there's all those elements of what would be motivating to her, what would set her up to be successful, and what would help her have a lot of dignity as well.
That's right. I really forgot. I sometimes, like exactly you said, I get so caught up in this whole wanting to get over the autism thing that I forget that she's just a growing girl, you know, and she needs normalcy in her life. And even things like a hug from her mom, you know, a hug and say, Ma, I'm so proud of you, Ma, you know, you're doing so well today. Amma loves you so much. So I forgot about, because I get so caught up in the whole autism thing and trying to figure out the autism thing and feeling so guilty and all that other crap. I've just forgotten to just be normal with her, like how I'm normal with my other children, you know.
Yeah, it's so true. I think we can all get so caught up with the skills that we have to teach them and all the challenges and all. But look, Joanna, we really have so much honor for you, and we really admire you so much, and your resilience and all the, you know, the fight that you and your husband have to really help Joanna and help every story. And I really hope that these strategies will help. We're just a call away, and really hoping that this will help, you know, not just Brianna enjoy life, but you and your family also enjoy life together. That's really what we're really hoping for you. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
so much, and participating in 3 webinars with us.
Yes.
I'll pass it over. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Fiona, again for joining us today. And we've covered so much area. Of course, we're going to be posting this live, once we've wrapped everything up. So I guess that's it for today. For anyone that's with us, do be sure to check out autismathome.co. This is where we put all our content of, reinforcement and practice and breaking skills down. And we've got more content coming your way for 2021 as well. So as Joe mentioned, we're going to be talking about building flexibility. So if you've ever wondered, how do I teach my child how to wait, tolerate changes, accept the word no, that is what this entire series is about. So do mark your calendars. You can't wait to share it with you. And of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also follow us on all our social media. Thank you everyone so much for joining in today. Really hope Fiona has been very helpful to you and to anybody who's also watching. And yeah, that's a wrap.
Thanks, guys. Thank you
Great.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Joanna. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay,
Thank
bye
you.
everyone.
Bye.